Twice a week, Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay dissect the biggest topics in Black culture, politics, and sports on their show, Higher Learning. They discuss the most important and timely conversations while also frequently inviting guests on the podcast and occasionally debating each other. Check out Higher Learning on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements. So many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com.
So the first thing that she's going to do, she's going to take her butt and she's going to put it over here. So that's called shrimping. She gets her hips away.
It's called what?
Shrimping, right? She makes that shrimp
It's called
motion.
shrimping. This isn't, we can't make this up.
We just can't get away from shrimp.
Yeah, I mean, I've had shrimp follow me throughout this entire journey. It's ridiculous. It's never going away, apparently.
I try to push in, she hips away, she shrimps, brings the leg through, and then she wraps her legs, and now she's in a good, safe position. Got it?
You can stay there.
All right.
At the end of the day, though, I'll shrimp with Susie any day of the week.
Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Litman. We're down to the final 3. We're getting close to the end. I'm joined by Callie Curry, who is in disbelief over Serene going home. Callie, how are you holding up? I know you're a really big fan.
I'm not holding up well. I feel like I started down on Serene, and she slowly but surely won my heart to the point where in the middle of this episode, I was like, wow, she could win this. Only to be stabbed in the back by Clayton by the end of it.
To have your heart broken like Serene.
Very misleading episode by the producers, I feel.
That was clearly intentional. I agree. This was a weird hometown. There was a lot that I didn't like. Do you usually watch hometowns and like people more or less?
I feel like it's 50-50. Some families I really like. Like, I feel like well, we can get into it later, but there was a family that I was really into and it made me like the person more.
Let's get into it now. What family was it?
I loved Gabby's grandpa. Like,
yeah,
MVP of the episode.
He was sweet. I think him calling her a lovable dingbat is like the most lovable thing that's happened on this season. I just thought that was like so sweet. It indicated to me that he really knew his granddaughter. It was cute.
Dingbat would not be my preferred adjective, but everyone's different. Everyone is different.
I get that. Her family was really sweet. I'm happy to start with Gabby's date. There was a lot there. For me, I had one primary question about Gabby and her family. Why?
Oh, I know what it's going to be.
Couldn't she speak to her father? I mean, she's like stood 30 feet away. You could, get your outdoors, get 10 feet away, or put on a mask and get even closer.
Okay, so
like, what
when was this
that?
filmed?
This was filmed in early November. So
I feel like that was before. Is it Omicron or Omicron?
Omicron.
Omicron, whatever.
It was before. I went to a wedding in early November and felt very safe. I understand, wanting to take care of someone who has cancer with a weakened immune system. And I totally get it. But like, that just didn't make any sense. They couldn't even speak. They couldn't even shout to each other. Like, what the hell? Let the girl talk to her father.
It reminded me of the movie or TV show. I feel like a billion TV shows have done this, where you're like standing outside the window with a boombox.
Yeah, it's originated in Say Anything with John Cusack, and it's been ripped off many times since.
There we go. So that movie.
And then they did the stupid Love Actually cards, which
Yeah.
like this is not a Christmas movie. This is a girl and her father. It's like
I love Love Actually though.
I'm mixed on it, but that scene is very sweet.
It's one of my favorite Christmas movies.
I just like this. The cards, we get it. Like it was just on Ted Lasso. It's iconic. We all get it. But like this was a father and his daughter. It's sort of a weird use of that. I don't get it.
Weird use. I mean, obviously it was like for production. It was for like the episode more than anything else. There's no way the dad was like, let me draw cards and not say a word. Also, I'm like, I wish they would have shown some like outtakes. They had to have said something, right?
I hope so. If she didn't get to talk to her father, I'd be really upset. So I don't know. That was super weird, but I thought that they had a pretty good date. Clayton doesn't strike me as much of a hiker or like an outdoorsy guy, but
he kept saying it though,
that he likes to do it, but
also in Rachel's date, visibly uncomfortable.
He was uncomfortable in every date, like literally all of them. I think that he's not like comfortable with like surprises and like new stuff because he didn't really seem
lack of control.
Yes, he didn't seem comfortable with the jiu-jitsu. Didn't seem comfortable hiking. Didn't seem comfortable with the heights situation, the ropes course, and definitely
very uncomfortable with heights.
Not comfortable in the see-through kayak, which I thought seemed really fun. Kayaking is also like I'm extremely unathletic.
You would have wanted to do that date?
Yes, I think that seemed. I would have been. This is my only problem. I don't handle heat well. That's not true. I'd rather be hot than cold, but I hate being really hot. And so like being really hot and like a plastic item like that, I just would have been sweating.
So you would have done that
with
the bugs, with the spiders.
I don't know.
With the alligators.
Bugs and spiders don't bother me. Alligators, so many questions.
With the snakes.
Yeah, we got to come back to that. We'll come back. Rachel's next on our list. But back to Gabby. They did this hiking date. I was wondering if she was wearing a sports bra underneath that top because it was like a weird like ruched in the middle. But clearly she knew what they were doing. I just hope that she had the support she needed. I didn't see her wearing a sports bra, but I don't know.
She looked comfortable. Like she looked fine. I couldn't wear that. She looked fine.
I couldn't either.
I like sports bras to be like suffocating. I want no movement.
I need them to be suffocating, no movement. Like otherwise it's just like so uncomfortable. So they go hiking and she like takes him to like Proposal Rock or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, just a small hint. It's like, you think so? A small hint?
Just a tiny hint. Also, she said, if he proposed, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah. It's like, Gabby, we are aware of that. And also, he's not proposing right now. The producers must have loved her because she just gives them everything.
You already want to, like, you would say yes right now?
I guess she would. I don't know. They've spent so little time together. It's very confusing.
Yeah, very confusing.
And what was her one-on-one? It was a while ago. So like they haven't spent alone time together in quite some time. So
no, the person who spent the most alone time with him, I thought would still be here, but she's not. So apparently that means nothing.
Oh man. And then Gabby's family, the first time I watched, I wasn't really listening when she introduced who that was going to be there. So I was like, is that her sister? Is that her aunt? Is that her cousin? I was really confused. It was her aunt. But I skipped the hot tub, by the way, when they go into the hot tub.
How did you skip that?
No, I didn't. In this narration, I forgot about it. Sorry.
Oh, did you hear her say hot tub?
Hot tub.
She was like, hot tub. Like it was like a kid seeing a dinosaur. Like
that seems really fun, though. She seems fun.
She seems like a lot of fun. I told you that would be my number one hang.
Yeah,
from this season,
definitely.
Also, we would love to see her as the Bachelorette.
Oh, it would be really fun. I think that like just like an inner monologue from her would be good in general. Yeah, she says so many weird things. There was that one shot of her like in her bathing suit taking her hiking boots off, and I was like, did they make her put her hiking boots off just for this one shot? And I was like, how did she get her pants off? It was confusing to me. But
yeah, it seems
whatever.
like a weird order of events.
Yes, exactly. I was glad it wasn't.
I didn't notice that.
I was glad it wasn't one of those wood barrel hot tubs.
There's no way that this hot tub just like exists in the middle of the woods hike. Ew. Oh, could you imagine that if there was just some local hot tub that people could go on mid hike?
They obviously put it there, but this leads me to some questions. Like, how do they make the water hot? Like, are hot tubs battery powered? I thought you had to like have
Can't
fuel
be hot.
or something. And then there's no way there's jets. And sort of like, what's the point of like a giant
They're
tub?
sitting in a puddle.
It's just sitting in a tub together with like no soap, no
No,
shower.
not even a tub. It's not warm water. It's a puddle.
And so they're in the mountains of Colorado in November. They got to be cold. Like, it just didn't really seem that much fun.
I love how she said Colorado is like the hub of outdoors. And I thought about that and I was like, kind of is.
Yeah. Skiing,
you're not wrong.
Hiking, all the Rockies. Seems nice. I've never been to Colorado. I'd like to go.
I've been. I used to have to work out at the Olympic Training Center.
Oh, cool.
And working out in Colorado,
the altitude.
Oh my gosh, you're literally like sucking for air in the warm-ups.
I mean, and then they went hiking, so it must have been hard. Just gross. Just gross. Also, how do they get it there? Like, do they have a crane? Did someone have to carry it up the mountain? Devon, our producer, pointed out that Gabby's makeup was pristine. So maybe it was just like a walk around the woods or something, and like a nature preserve, not an actual hike.
It's still just all weird.
Yeah.
The hot tub didn't seem to be in like an easily accessible place.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, how did they get it there? Who carried it? How did they like? Is there like a tractor or something, or not? Like
I'm wondering if it's
truck?
like. I'm wondering if it's like fake wood that they like stick to like just like a pop up.
Like,
I don't know.
Like one of the I used to have a backyard in LA that was like small, and I was like, I should just get an inflatable hot tub back here. I never did it, but I thought about it. So maybe it was
my friend she's in Orlando now, but she has a inflatable like kids pool, but it looks like that size kind of.
Oh, interesting. Well,
I have no idea, but it cannot be a working hot tub. That's what we know.
It also seemed like they had a really short date compared to some of the other ones. Like, maybe we certainly just didn't see it, but I don't know. They just seemed like they went to the woods for like an hour or two, and then they went to her family's house.
I felt like Susie's was short.
I don't know, but Susie at least had like two locations, basically. Like, there's the jiu-jitsu, and then there was like the heart-to-heart that was, I think, at the beach, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Near the beach. So, I don't know. But then, yeah, Gabby, we get her grandfather, we get her brother, I think, and her aunt. And then her dad comes to... Yeah. He who should not speak. Was it her brother? Maybe I'm just an idiot and I'm not remembering correctly, but they seemed really lovely. They seemed to like really like know her, and I don't know. I thought it was pretty sweet. I liked it.
I mean, her family made me like her more. I loved Gabby already because she seems to be like the most interesting,
and also like
different.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Love the wackiness. By the way, it was not her brothers, her aunt, her uncle, her cousin, and her dad, like her grandfather.
Cousin.
Excuse me.
I also like a family that doesn't take it super seriously.
Me too.
Like, I understand
Rachel's
it actually
family
is pretty serious, but I was watching Joe Millionaire last night, and the families, I felt like the families that were like joking around the most were the most likable, and it's kind of the same with this.
Totally.
You don't want a family that's like, like Rachel's family.
You might be the only person who's watching Joe Millionaire who's not been paid to watch Joe Millionaire. Like, all the Bachelor people tweet about it because it's like sponsored content for them.
Seth watches it too.
Okay, so you two are the only ones who aren't paid to watch it.
It's actually good. I want to know who wins so badly.
Gabby's, her grandfather stole the show, and he was really sweet. She was really sweet. I just like her. I think I like her. She's too good for Clayton. Like, we kind of started talking about this, but like, I felt myself turning on him this episode. Like,
well,
just so many moments where I was just like, this guy is, I don't know. He's a joker. I'm sick of him.
He has a huge smile. I felt like we saw that a lot.
Huge smile and huge thighs. I felt like his thighs were really accentuated this week, like big time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gabby's super likable. She can be serious and go deep, but she's also easily the funniest.
Yeah,
like
100%.
She's fully cracking jokes left and right. Like she's not taking it as seriously. The other girls, it's like every conversation has to be something super deep or super traumatic.
Yeah,
like, let's lighten it up a little bit.
I think this was in the post-credits scene, but at one point she was like being romantic. Oh no, it's when she brings him to the proposal spot or whatever. And he's like, Gabby being romantic? And she was like, yeah, don't tell anybody. I'll kill you. So I guess like she's not very romantic, but I think is sweet. And like,
yeah,
I definitely prefer that type of personality to like an overly saccharine, whispery Rachel type. On that note.
Oh my goodness.
Should we talk about Rachel's date?
Yes, let's talk about horse Rachel.
So Rachel lost her voice. I would have liked for her to say, no, I don't have COVID, but that's okay. I guess I didn't want to draw us out. Because that was my first question. I was like, does she have COVID?
Do people
or
lose
did
their
she?
voice on COVID?
I have no idea. But like, if you're sick.
On COVID. It's not a drug, but.
If you're sick in November
might as well be.
Of 2021, I think everything is like, oh, do they have COVID? I mean, I just think she could have addressed it. Plus, she was in Florida where at the time it was raging. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. That was my other question for the whole Gabby thing. I'm like, aren't they getting tested like 24/7?
Yeah, they have to be.
Yeah, so I don't know.
It didn't really make sense. Whatever.
Yeah. Anyways, back to Rachel.
Rachel, she takes Clayton to like a swamp. Is that a swamp, would you say?
I think it's like a canal, it looked like, more than a swamp.
Okay. And they're in a clear, see-through two-person kayak. I think that's a cute date. Just like taking the swamp and the animals out of it. Cute date. Have to work together. It's like
not for me.
An activity. Really? No boating for you of any kind?
I'm not like a nature person.
Right. You don't want to touch water. You just want to see it. So he's really scared of the spider that's like not even within arm's reach.
Massive though.
Okay. I have a theory that is a different spider. That footage looked different. It looked like it was like a nature documentary. I'm not saying there wasn't a spider, but I don't think that was the spider they saw because it was like such random footage and there's no way they got that close to it either. Like I don't think a camera was that close to them because most of the footage we got of Rachel and Clayton was from like the GoPros on the boat. And so I think it was like that was a different spider. I'm not buying what they're selling.
By the way, I thought the same thing about the gator footage.
Yeah. I think that was like all fake and they're trying to scare us.
Like B-roll from something else.
Yeah. Like just like stock footage of a gator or something like that. Like Getty Images stock video. And I feel like they were showing it and made it look more exaggerated to throw Clayton a bone because he was so scared. Like he was more scared of heights, but he was really freaking out and not comfortable in that little kayak.
Well, okay. First of all, he's huge. So the kayak probably felt like nothing to him. Like a little, like basically like floating on like a plastic dish. Secondly, there is huge spiders by lakes.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that was the spider, but there probably was a pretty large spider.
Sure. Yeah, I believe it too.
Spiders, in fact, it seems every fucking creature in Florida jumps.
You guys gotta get some kangaroos there.
So if I saw a spider arm's distance and I have no way to run away, but like paddling fast, like there wasn't really an out for him.
I guess, but then he jumps in the water. They go in the water where they see, like they're worried about gators. So like, I don't understand this. Do people just swim with gators? And don't gators eat people? Like, I don't get
Gators do eat people.
I don't understand why they went in the water. Like, I now
you can get in the water though. Yeah,
I get that, but like he was so afraid and they just jump in. And like, what do you do if like a gator comes up to you while you're in the water?
Yeah,
Swim away?
Pray.
I mean,
you're supposed to like poke something that makes them choke.
And then if you're on the ground, you're supposed to run
zigzag.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm scared of. I'm way more scared of gators than I am of sharks. I'll put it that way.
I think I'm equally scared. The water they jumped into was completely clear. You could see the ground.
That's
so
true.
I feel like he probably felt a lot safer. Like, okay, I can get in this.
That raises another point for me, which is then they were like lying literally in a puddle and they were like making out. He was like on top of her. And I was just like, where are they? Like, that was just so weird how they were like lying on this like little strip of beach. I don't know. It was confusing and weird. And I liked Rachel and Clayton until this week. And then I found them together just like really annoying. And her family.
The whispering was a lot. Her family wasn't bad. It just wasn't enjoyable.
Her family was really into the competition of the show. Like, 'cause she was like, and we had our first date here. And then she's like, and I got a group date, Rose.
Like,
and they cheered. Yeah. And then she said it again. They cheered again. And I was like, this is like such a lame family. Like, what the hell?
I also we've talked about this before, but I really just don't like I was falling and now I'm in love. Like, how long does falling last? It just
what
like
does
the
it
whole
feel
thing. Like? It's just the whole thing. I feel like it's like you don't, then all of a sudden you think about it and you're like, maybe I do. There's not like this period of like, I think I'm going to.
Yeah.
Like, is that the fall? I don't know. It's just all weird. But today she said, if I was falling in love with you before, I'm falling even harder. Which I was like, even harder? What do you mean? What does falling harder mean?
Also, like, based on what? I don't know. He just, I guess they're just really into each other because the
velocity of a fall should never be brought up. I just, that put me over the edge.
Also, the way that he was just like, we're doing intimate together. Like, we just can't keep our hands off each other. We're intimate. And it's just like, okay, we get it. You're just really into her. Like, you just want to bang her. Like, you will next week. I'm happy for you. But her dad, the building up of her dad being like really mean and her being like, he's just like an Italian dad. Just like, are you in the mafia? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, if you're like, are you trying to just like evoke stereotypes? Also, like, what does that mean? Like, he's just an Italian dad. Other than like trying to evoke Tony Soprano, I don't know what that really means. And his like meanness, I didn't care for. I think this was both two dads that wouldn't give Clayton their blessing because they wanted to talk to their daughter first.
I feel like they should have switched the order.
So Rachel's gone first?
Yeah.
They don't air in the order it was filmed, but that is true.
But this was correct though, right? Because he was like, I have to talk to my daughter, and then the good old pat on his way out.
Oh, you mean you mean the order of the conversations, not the order of the dates. My bad.
Yeah.
You're right. One thing that Rachel did that like all of these women did, really except for Serene, because her dad wasn't there, was like they all just like worship their fathers in like a really bizarre way where they're just like, my dad's opinion means so much to me. He set the bar so high, and like just like crying over their dads. I'm very close with my father and I like really, his opinion is important to me, but these women act like they're like looking to marry another father. And so it like has to be as like their dad. It's like super weird and paternalistic and like honestly just like immature to me. I'm just like, that's like the biggest sign that you're not actually ready for this, because the way that you view Clayton is like as if he's like following in your father's footsteps. And I understand it's like, what will he be like as a dad or whatever, but I just find it like really weird and kind of like sick.
You texted me about this.
I'm a broken record. Sorry.
I love no. I was thinking about like when you texted me, it made me like I obviously saw it, but it didn't bother me at all. And then when you said it, I was like, they are like really into their dads. Now, Gabby's situation is different.
Yes, absolutely. Her mom and her have a difficult relationship. She also couldn't apparently speak to him at this hometown date. So yeah, I agree.
But
that's
also,
different.
I feel like Gabby values her dad's opinion because he was kind of the person that raised her.
Yeah, he was like her more loving parent.
Which also just like, I think all solo parents deserve like all the credit in the world, but you rarely hear about dads that like take on that role more. So it made me really like him. Also them believing in COVID really made me like him. But I would hope that my dad would like my husband, but if he didn't, I'd be like, well, tough luck. Still marrying.
I think that happens a lot. That's like why in-laws are like a difficult relationship very often. So I just thought that they were like Susie and Rachel in particular were like
Do
so
you think,
fixated on
though,
their
if
fathers.
their dad did not like Clayton, would that have changed anything?
I think maybe, yeah. But
Because I feel like a lot of people say that because they think it's like a cute thing. But if their dad
Right.
didn't, I could see them being like, well, I still want to win this. So
I don't know. I think it probably hurts more long term. I really don't know. I think Clayton's like pretty inoffensive. Like I know my parents wouldn't like him, but like I think
Would
most
it?
parents would not. They don't.
I don't know. My parents would like him. They just wouldn't be like impressed by him.
Yeah, he's like
They
an
would be like-
inoffensive guy. We
I
made
feel
it
like they'd
8
be like-
weeks being positive
Yeah.
about him until now. We're just like, oh, this guy's.
I feel like they would be like, he's nice enough. I don't really get why you want to be with him, but he's nice enough.
What did you think about Rachel having her friend Nate there? Would you want a friend to be there as well as your family?
If I didn't have a sibling I was close to,
Mhm.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it just doesn't mean as much. I don't want to bring this up again, but Joe Millionaire. They met the families and one woman didn't have her family there, and the guys talked about it afterwards and was just like, you can't really get to know her based off of a friend.
Right.
Like
That's
you need
like
to know
with
where she
Justin
came from.
on
but-
Katie's season.
Yeah, exactly. That didn't feel good. But she did have family there, so it wasn't just him. So I thought it was fine. I thought it was weird he got the first conversation with her.
I think maybe friends would be more honest. Like I feel like a family member, although it's just dicey. If you tell a family member or a close friend that you don't like their significant other and then they get married, it's like you're on record forever as having not liked them. So you got to be careful. But I do think maybe friends would be a little bit more honest. As Clayton, I would like the friends to be there. Like I would want to know who my fiance's friends are and like who her choice of people and stuff like that.
Who I'm going to hang out with.
Yeah, and who I have to spend time with. Absolutely. So that's like a win for him.
I think it depends on the family.
It seemed like it's probably good to break up Rachel's family with the friends.
For this specific instance, yes.
I mean,
Because he was a little bit more light.
also her mom didn't really seem to say much. Like we just didn't get a lot from her mom. She was just like cheering her on. It's like, I've never seen you glowing like this.
In the bed, she seemed, that sounds weird, but they were sitting on a bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, her mom just seemed super supportive, happy. Like she didn't really have an opinion on anything.
I know. That's also like made the dad stuff even weirder to me. I was like, okay, so this is just like totally subservient to her like supposedly mean father. I just thought that was weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. I just didn't like it.
I mean, the first thing she said to her mom was like, I warned him about dad.
Yeah, it's like
I was
just
like,
such
Jesus, how mean is your dad? I don't like. His dad,
such a
her dad also
cliche.
was like not mean at all.
No,
So-
they just like they probably like make a mean face for the camera and they like just like held it on him for a long time.
Yeah, I was wondering like, how mean was he before for you to keep bringing it up?
This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 years resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code Visible24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need. Have coverage options to protect the things you value most. File a claim right on the State Farm mobile app and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Susie had the first date of the night.
Wow. Never in a million years would I think that she could do that or even be like into
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I think she lived abroad, and that's when she got into it, if I recall.
Where?
I'm gonna look it up, but I also thought it was interesting how she like. I will say the jiu-jitsu part made me like Susie more. I generally like Susie. She's sort of like also similarly inoffensive. But I thought it was interesting to hear her talk about how like she overcame body issues by getting into jiu-jitsu. I was like, that's cool. That's smart. And like it's like an interesting thing to share with him.
No, I think it's cool because I can't do it, one. But two, I'm like a sports person. So like, I thought it was interesting that she was into something sporty. I just never would have guessed that.
Me neither. I may have made it up that she lived abroad, but she said sorry. No, I didn't make it up. I recall correctly. Whether it's moving to Japan to experience a new culture or winning Miss Virginia 2020, Susie loves to defy expectations.
Oh.
And she's a jiu-jitsu champion.
Our expectations.
Big time.
I would love to live in Japan, by the way, for like a brief
I've never
stint.
been. I'd love
Me
to go.
either.
I've heard it's really cool.
I've heard it's really cool. I've heard it's super clean, which is right up my alley.
I've heard there's really good snacks, which is right up my alley. I love trying
good
snacks.
Sushi.
Yes, and good sushi as well. Love sushi.
I've actually heard nothing bad about Japan, so there's that.
I just read this book called Pachinko, which I learned a lot about Japan from that I didn't know before, and most of it not good. But I still want to go. It's a really good book. I recommend it. It's about ethnic Koreans living in Japan, and it's about to be an Apple TV Plus show. It's really good. Anyway, back to The Bachelor. So Susie takes him to jiu-jitsu, and they make a shrimp joke because she does like a shrimp move on the mat. The shrimp thing, I'm really over. I didn't need that, but okay, good callback, I suppose. And I just feel like we saw a different side of Susie. I liked it. She was like a lot more, less like cheery and sort of like, she was definitely emotional, obviously really worried about her father. I have to say the prevalence of cancer, I think that is so sad. I hope he's doing okay. But anyway, she was very emotional about him. And I have to say, if I'm Susie and I'm her family, hear Clayton hedge so hard on whether or not he's falling in love with her is a really bad sign. Even if he picks her in the end, I would not enjoy watching that back.
I think he needs to learn how to answer that question better because he answered it poorly all 4 times.
That's correct. That's correct.
I was just like, you got to figure. We've seen like it happens every single time for hometowns, right? I feel like every once in a while you see a bachelor or bachelorette like basically say they love the person and you're always like, oh God. But he needs to go back and do some film work, watch some past seasons.
You know he will. He's our coach.
And see some better answers to that question. I thought the way he answered it to Serene's brother, I was like, oh.
Really rough.
I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't told anyone I love them. And he's like, okay. I was asking how you feel about Serene, but all right. Obviously not very well because she's gone. But
I know. So what he said to Susie's family is, I know I'll get there. I'm falling in love with her.
I know I can get there.
I know I can get there. Which is like, if you know you can get there, why aren't you there yet? Like, it's just like this whole concept is so stupid to try to apply logic's impossible, but that's a particularly bad answer. Like, just really rough. I
know I can get there, but I just haven't chose to start yet.
Yeah. It's like I have a car, just haven't turned it on yet.
Yeah. I haven't put in the effort yet, but I think I will. Maybe.
I know I can. It was so uncomfortable. I would not be happy that her family. I think that the weight of having 4 women like really is heavy for him because like in all of the answers, he also like references the fact that he's dating multiple women. And it's like, dude, you don't need to bring that up. They know.
They know. Yeah.
The cameras are there. They know they're on The Bachelor. It's not a secret.
You know, I was thinking during this episode, I was like, maybe they should change hometowns to 3. 4 hometowns is a lot, and you're going to disappoint a lot of people by the end of this.
He is very aware of that. Also, he seems so tired by the end. He seems really tired right now. His eyes are sort of like puffy, and he just seems like he's losing it. I get it, I think.
I also think he's actually, I know we've talked a little bit of shit about him, not too bad. But I do think he actually is a really good person. And this whole like process of like him realizing like I'm going to have to break 3 people's hearts is really fucking him up.
Yeah. This is his exact quote. I have very strong feelings for Susie, but to fall in love for me is very sacred. I know I will get there. To be honest with other women around, I guard myself because I don't want to fall in love with 4 different people, but with Susie, I will get there.
Well,
so,
we know that he fell in love with 3.
At least
right?
3. Yeah, at least 3.
So
I guess
he's in love with the rest.
You're right. He's not in love with Serene. He basically told her that. But that's a good point. Like, they should eliminate who the families have to, like, by eliminating one before hometowns, they don't put the families through it, which, like, also might be nice to them.
Yeah.
But
you know what? Serene could absolutely be a bachelorette.
Totally.
And if she's not, she will be a hot commode on the beach.
Her family was great, but
I loved her family.
I'm not ready to move on to them yet, but I did like them quite a bit too. I think this was the first time we saw Susie cry. I actually don't think we've seen really any of these women cry. But she was crying and talking about her dad. I did think that was very sweet.
I can't remember Rachel crying.
Yeah, I think this is the first time.
But we've seen Gabby cry talking about her mom.
Oh yeah, good call.
And we saw Serene cry talking about her cousin and her grandma dying. Okay. And I can picture Susie crying in my head, but I have no idea about what.
She did it tonight. She was crying about her dad.
Did she? Yeah, but did she cry about her dad before?
Yeah, she was like, they were sitting. It was like a cloudy day. They were sitting by the beach, and she was like explaining that her dad had been sick and whatnot. I'm glad he's
all
okay.
These women cry, but Rachel. Did Rachel have the trauma conversation?
I don't think so. Rachel and him, they've been intimate. Her
trauma was being too successful.
Yes, exactly. Her, as she whispered into his face while they sat on the dock, the awful whispering of Rachel.
I will say that conversation actually really made me like Rachel.
Yeah.
The whispering is not doing her any favors for me, personally.
The whispering is super tough. Also, I liked how her dad, the one thing I did like about her dad was how he was like, yeah, she's wanted to be a pilot since 8th grade. Like, he was very specific. He's like 8th grade. And it just sort of was funny to me.
I thought that was cute. Like, the fact that
cute.
he remembered that. And then also he was like, if she wants to go live overseas, like he very much wants her to like achieve all of her dreams.
Yes, it's true. All of these families were very supportive of their daughters in a nice way. I don't know. There was Susie's family was just sort of like the most basic and like just sort of very plain.
Okay. Yes. But also I like wrote that down in my notes. Mm-hmm. And then I put dash probably just normal.
Yeah. I think that's right. You're just like, this is just a regular family from Virginia, just doing family stuff. Yeah. Hope everyone's okay.
Very stable.
Yeah.
Like,
see, if you're Clayton, that's probably really appealing too through all of this. You're just like, okay, this is pretty easy. Seems fine.
Also, I was thinking about like drama and like all of that. Susie seems to be like the most out of the fray.
Yeah, just very chill.
She honestly like hasn't really given us much because she's more towards the normal side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I think she's stamped to win still.
The jiu-jitsu is like the only real quirk we know about her.
And even that isn't that quirky when you've learned she lived in Japan.
Yeah. But moreover, I feel like there's sort of like a jiu-jitsu movement in this country.
Yeah. Like I feel like it's like taking over like the health scene.
Yes, absolutely.
Did she start jiu-jitsu before moving to Japan or after? That is a question I would like answered.
I don't know, but maybe we can DM her and ask. Is that the kind of thing she might answer?
Yeah, I would like to know how long. Also, did she talk about, she said that the instructor was a black belt. Do we know what belt she is?
She was wearing a blue belt. So I don't know what level that. I don't know. I feel
like it's like level 3. I think it's yellow, something blue. Green? Blue?
I mean, it says her bio says she's a champion. So, I mean.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Just telling you what her bio says. All right. And finally, there was Serene in Oklahoma City. Serene's date for Clayton was like being on the challenge. They had to walk across some like elevated rope course and then jump down off the rope course onto a mat. And yes, have you looked at the belts?
Yeah, I think I was correct.
Oh, nice.
For adult gyms that don't use the yellow belt, it goes white, yellow, blue. Just a third.
Nice.
But adult gyms in jiu-jitsu usually don't use yellow, so it's white, blue.
Oh, nice, Susie. Congrats.
But that's second level.
But maybe it's like a big level. Who knows?
There's purple, brown, and black, and then red, black, red, white, red belt.
I hope to continue with her on her journey after this of her jiu-jitsu studies. It's cool that she has a gym. They knew her and everything.
Yeah, I mean she's in it if she's in
She's
blue
legit.
belt.
Yeah, she's legit. All right, Serene. So she did a ropes course, all of the challenge. It looked like not that scary, and Clayton was literally shaking. Like
I thought at first he was playing it up.
Me too.
And
like,
then
it's scary.
If you looked at his hands, he was shaking.
He was like really scared.
Also, he was talking to himself. He was like, "Come on, Clayton. Come on."
Now we know what he's like playing football. So he
no, I don't think he's uncomfortable in situations where he doesn't have control.
Yeah, it's like I think he doesn't want to screw up. I feel like he doesn't want to be embarrassed, and that's
like a perfectionist.
I think he's like self-conscious, and so he doesn't want to be bad at anything, and so he's like afraid of the animals and the height, not because it's like de facto scary, but because like he's just like not familiar. So it is like a control thing.
I would be scared of the animals, but the height thing looked incredibly easy.
Also,
and
like worst case scenario is you fall into a mat. Yeah, Serene made it look like extremely easy.
When
she had no problems.
He was like walking across and he's like, I'm holding on to this like my life depends on it because my life does. And I was like, no, your life depends on the like harness that you're wearing.
Yeah.
That needs to work.
Haven't they watched the challenge? I mean, I do
think all the time about the challenge. Like they do some stuff that I'm like,
hard,
a little risky.
Scary.
Yeah.
Oh my God. In the final challenges, they have to like stay up all night, like standing on a log out in the cold. I couldn't do that. Are you kidding? Also, I wouldn't do that for money. No.
I wouldn't do it for money. I would do it to win. I'm really into winning.
Well, you are an athlete, so makes sense.
But yeah, I would do it to win. But no, there's stuff on the challenge where I'm like, this could go really badly.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of injuries too.
Yeah, but like horrible injuries. Like think about how many times they've done skydiving and I'm like, never. No one's ever gotten hurt.
I know.
By the way, TBT, remember when Rachel went skydiving? That was a great Bachelor moment.
Yes, I do. There was also that scene, was it the Challenge All-Stars or the Challenge where someone jumped in the water this past week or like past season and they got really hurt?
All-Stars.
Yeah, that was like
two women jumped in and they both got really hurt in different challenges.
Yeah, so it can happen, but not on The Bachelor.
A long time ago, someone jumped in the water in their implant.
Yeah, that was Siobhan. Legendary. I hope she's okay. Anyway, he was really afraid and they did it. I just thought it was weird how he was so scared to like jump down. Like it was like, wasn't even bungee jumping. It was just like jumping in a harness. Looked fun, obviously.
It wasn't even jumping. They said step off.
I know, it was really weird. He was like so freaked out. But
he tried like twice. Also, it was more so weird because Serene was literally just like, okay,
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he's been in helicopters and stuff. That's way more dangerous. Like way more.
Yeah. I would 1,000,000% rather do every ropes course in the world than get back on a fucking helicopter.
Absolutely. Completely.
By the way, I actually like ropes courses. They can be fun.
Yeah, I find them hard. Like they do take a lot of strength. Well, not the ones they did, but some of them take a lot of strength.
Yeah, but they're still fun.
Yeah, sure. I love a zip line. That's great. And then they went to her house and we met her mom and her brother. Great family. Definitely the best family. One I would want to hang out with the most. Also, I thought her brother was very handsome.
Her brother was good looking. Yes. Loved his accent. Where is she from?
Oklahoma City.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Um,
he was just like, it was just like real talk with her brother. Really enjoyed it.
I also thought their house was really cute and had like a little bench outside where they got to sit on. Like it was just
nice
it was very
backyard.
homey. Her brother to me was like so impressive for a brother.
What in what way? As someone who has 5 brothers,
17. Yeah, I have 5. Yeah, like I think all brothers are overprotective. And it's actually like treacherous sometimes. But like the way he handled it was like, first of all, I mean, they are clearly super close. Like him being like, I've stayed up on the phone with you while you were crying. I just don't want to see you get hurt again, but I trust you. Like it was just the best, most mature response for someone. Like you could tell, I'm like, wow, he really loves her. And not like all brothers, well, most brothers, I should say, like love their sisters or their siblings. But like it was like a mature love, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. He was very calm, very even, and like sort of very matter of fact. He also asked good questions, in my opinion. And you know, he did have to ask the requisite, do you love her? And Clayton said, I haven't told anybody that I love them. I'm not there yet. At least that was like more straightforward than his answer with Susie.
I don't like any of them.
Writing was on the wall, I guess, at that point. But her brother just was like someone I'd like to spend time around. He was my favorite family member for sure. Also, I like to think...
So your MVP is the brother.
Yeah, more than the grandpa. But I like the grandpa too.
I thought the grandpa was the most entertaining. I liked how the brother handled this specific weird situation more than anyone else.
I also thought that the one thing that was like both sweet and then sad was like the Firefly thing obviously was really meaningful to Serene. She brought it up. She still had it with her. The whole family knew about it. And then it was like all for naught because he sends her home. She asks him, I would love to know too, like what changed? Like, how does he decide at the end? Like, oh, it's not Serene because of like a bad date or like just didn't feel it with the family, can't picture it with the family. I just would love to know. Like, I wish they had to give like an exit interview or like a, this is why you're out interview.
I never thought Serene was going to win until today.
I know.
She went home.
He seemed excited about her. I really thought Gabby was going home. I don't see the connection between them at all, but I think he just must want to sleep with her. She seems kind of like...
She'd be fun in bed, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't really see the Gabby connection except for when she like retold her entrance about sitting on his face. I thought like they were laughing and like he was like kind of like tugging her in closer. I thought it was cute.
Just to be clear, I wouldn't be comfortable telling my family that. Like, I would just be like, you can watch it on TV.
I'd be fine.
Okay. Your parents too?
Yeah, we're very rated R.
Okay. Cool. I was just like, okay, I guess she's they just
I think
they know
a lot of
people
getting. Would not feel comfortable.
Yeah. I think it's also like, it's not just like having sex. It's like sitting on your face. I think it's like...
very explicit.
Yeah.
But it was a joke, so I feel like it's fine.
Yeah, sure. It's a jokey joke. I'm sure she meant it, but yes, also a joke.
So, who do we think he sleeps with?
Well, he sleeps with all 3, right? Or he just says, I've been intimate with both. I was in love with all 3 of you, but I'm intimate with both of you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to sleep with Susie because she has that great line of like, I don't think it's too much to ask my future husband to not sleep with someone else. So I feel like Susie's one.
Yeah. Also, remember she was like, Clayton likes to get choked. She's definitely ready to go.
Yeah.
I think Gabby self-eliminates. And it's Rachel and Suze.
I just think that she's by far the most sexual of the 3 of them. Like she gives the most sexual energy, but
if she self-eliminates.
Right. And I think and we know that Rachel's in the final 2 because she's like weeping on the stairs. So you're probably right. Gabby goes home. I just can't believe he's been in love with Gabby though. Like I just don't buy it.
Do you remember when that preview when he's like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. That's clearly Gabby walking with him.
Yeah, probably because she's like, I'm leaving. I think that's right. And then it comes down to Rachel and Susie. And we're now on team Susie wins. That seems right, honestly. Susie and Clayton seem like a good match.
I think they seem like a good match. I just like, I don't know. It's just that I don't get it. Like,
I think America doesn't get it. I was just checking it out. At time of recording, Clayton only has 192,000 followers. That's really bad for The Bachelor.
What's normal?
I think by this point, if they're popular, like at least 800,000. Matt James has over 1 million, I think.
No way. Okay, but Matt James had a good following before he went on.
He had like a decent one, but like, I don't know. Yeah, Matt James has 916,000. And I think that's like a really low number. Pilot Pete has 1.5 million.
Whoa.
I mean, Tyler Cameron has like over 2 million, but that's different because he's so hot.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, have you seen any of the clips of Tyler doing Dirty Dancing?
Yeah, I don't understand the show.
That's besides the point. He looks so hot. It's ridiculous.
I mean, he's just a good-looking guy. He's gonna look hot. He's gonna look hot doing anything, right?
Do you care about Dirty Dancing? Like, I love it.
Not at all. I've never seen it.
What? Oh my God. This is shocking. It's a great movie. I love it.
I feel like I've seen it like bits and pieces, but no, I've never sat down and watched it. What's his name? Patrick Swayze's
Swayze.
Swayze? There we go.
Yeah. There's that song like I'm Swayze. That's what you're thinking of. Anyway. Anyway, I don't think America cares for Clayton, which is weird. This is a good season, but I don't know. Like he doesn't have. I think like Shane has as from Love Is Blind has like as many. He has got
no
he's more.
Way.
Shane has 229,000.
Wow.
You know who has the most from that show? Deep D. She's got 360.
Good for her.
I know. Anyway,
I've heard based off of TikTok.
Shake sucks.
Yeah.
Big time. I could tell. I don't like him. So our predictions, our official Bachelor Party predictions. Gabby self-eliminates. Susie and Rachel final two. He picks Susie.
Yep.
Okay. I feel good about that.
I'm not changing my stance on Susie. Unless she self-eliminates, then I'll be forced to. But I don't think that's happening, and I think she wins.
I do too. I think the Pretty Woman date seals it. So, thank you very much to Devon Manze for producing this episode. Programming note, Callie and I will be back on Monday night as per usual for our recap. And then, as you probably saw in the scenes for next week, the Women Tell All is on Tuesday night. So we'll be recapping that on the second episode. That'll probably be Tuesday night as well, even though I hate the Women Tell All, but it's the job. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later this week.